Well, I think in interest of time, Lori, we can go ahead and get started. Welcome to everybody that is joining us tonight. We are very excited to have number two in our webinar workshop series for alumni. And our topic tonight is career changes. My name is Chris Whitney, and I am an alumna of the University of Scranton and also the director of the Center for Career Development. And joining to me tonight is Lori Moran.
Hello, I'm Lori Moran. I am also alumna of the University of Scranton. I have both my bachelor's and my master's degree from the university, and I also work in the Center for Career Development, and I'm happy to be here tonight.
You beat me. I only have one degree from the university, so you win that tonight. But we are so excited to have number two in this series, and we've got a couple more planned, which will be the last Wednesday of each month for the next few months. So I hope many of you can join us. A couple of housekeeping things for all of our attendees. We do have your videos and your microphones turned off, but please feel free to utilize the Q&A box. That option across the bottom of your screen. If you have any questions, we will definitely get to questions at the end of our presentation. We're not going to take a ton of time with that. We really just want to give you some basic information and then encourage you to reach out and to utilize the services for the Center for Career Development at the University of Scranton, because once a Royal, always a Royal. All of the services that we provide to our student population, we also do our best to provide to our alumni population. So it's been really great getting to know alumni and to serve them in all sorts of ways. So thanks for being here tonight, and we are really hoping that we can help in some way.
So we're going to talk to you a little bit tonight about why to make a career change. What are some of the reasons that people change careers, and what are some of the reasons that you may actually be considering changing your career? So a lot of people will make that decision because they're looking for better pay. Maybe they're not satisfied with their current salary and they're really trying to move up and make more money. That's obviously a really big reason for making a career change. Also, sometimes your job may be too stressful. You're just really worn down, and it's just becoming too overwhelming, maybe too time consuming. So that's another really big reason that people look to make a change in their career. Additionally, a better work-life balance. Maybe you're finding you're not able to spend as much time with your family or in your social activities as you would like, and so looking to kind of make your work-life balance a little bit better is a really strong reason that people look to change careers. Also, sometimes people do just want a new challenge. You may be ready for the next move or the next big challenge to come along, looking for something a little bit different to motivate you. And that's also really something that motivates people to make a career change. And then again, sometimes people are just no longer passionate about the field that they're currently working in. It just doesn't make them feel full of life as it used to. And so that's another really big reason that people will look to change their careers. And certainly there are a lot of benefits to making that change. Even though it can be a little bit frightening, it can feel a little bit overwhelming and scary to consider doing something maybe that you've been doing for a long time. And you're not alone in feeling that way, for sure. But once people do make those career changes, oftentimes they're happier, definitely more satisfied, perhaps in the work that they're doing, happier in their personal lives, happier in their work life, feeling that work-life balance has worked out a little bit more, perhaps more fulfilled if you are seeking a new challenge and you find something that really does fit the bill for you. You can feel more fulfilled in your work life, which really is important, and less stressed. So if you are one of those people who's in an extremely stressful job and you're just looking for a way to make that change, that can happen as well.
Yeah, not everybody is as lucky as Lori and I when it comes to finding passion and satisfaction in their career. So we want to help everybody do that. I always say to students and to alumni, I want everybody to look forward to Mondays as much as they do Fridays, to know that what you're doing is the right thing to be doing. Lori actually found this graphic that we loved from this journal entry. And we just thought it was really great as a kind of a pictorial of how to do this and how we're going to help you to make these changes and to identify what it is that might help you to find that satisfaction. So assessing your interest and skills, really figuring out what do you have, what do you need, what's missing, what can you work on. Considering the alternatives. Sometimes people are just scratching their heads and they say, you know what, I'm not really sure what I want to do. I just know that what I'm doing is not right. So it's really about considering some of those alternatives, what that could possibly be, utilizing the skills that you have. And that's also something I want to talk about just real quickly is there are two kinds of skills. There are things that you do well, those are your normal skills. And then there's motivated skills. Motivated skills are the things that you do well, but they're the things that keep you going, the things that you look forward to doing. Many of us in our jobs, we have the things that we really like doing, but just the things that we have to do, because we do it well. And so, your supervisor or your team says, oh, you're really great at this. So can you do this? And you're like, yeah, sure, I'll do that for my team. I know it's what needs to happen, but it's not what motivates you. So, really, the key is identifying what are those motivated skills. Because if the skill scale is too heavy on the regular skills and not the motivated skills, that's what leads to burnout. Right. So sometimes it might even just be identifying those motivated skills so that you could be doing them more often to really help you to find satisfaction. Reaching out for informational interviews. Now, this is something that we teach our first year business students is how to conduct an informational interview. And an informational interview is really, reaching out to people in your network, reaching out to other alumni, reaching out to professionals, recruiters, people who are in a field that you have an intellectual curiosity about, reaching out to them, saying for 15 minutes and just asking them questions about their career. It's not asking them for jobs, it's not asking them for specific opportunities, but it's asking their advice. We always tell students that people love talking about themselves and they love giving advice. And that's what an informational interview is all about. It goes immediately to tell them that you have an intellectual curiosity. So the next thing we have here in this is taking a class to upgrade your skills. So in the beginning, we assess what is it that you have, what are your skills, what are your interests, and fun fact about interests. If you think about the strong interest inventory, or you think about Holland codes, which are based on interest, interests don't really change past 14. So what's that, the eighth grade? They don't really change past that. Other things do, motivators, skills, experience, those kinds of things change throughout your life, but your interests really don't, right? So anyway, so we identified those, and then we've identified what might be missing. So take a class, take something online, take something on the weekends, take a workshop that's just a day or a weekend. Another opportunity is to volunteer in the field. Maybe you're working 8, 9 hours a day, but maybe on the weekends you can volunteer in the field. All too often people say, well, I don't have any experience in such and such, or I haven't interacted with this. Volunteering is a way to do that. And the interests, I talk to people about interests and what are interests and how do you identify them. Well, real quickly, it's the things that you think about, talk about, read about when you don't have to think about, talk about, or read about anything, right? It's your choice. It's what you want to do. It's what you're interested in. And then spending time job shadowing. This may sound strange, particularly for those of you that have maybe been out of undergrad for a couple of years or several years, but it's still an opportunity. It's an opportunity to say to someone in your network that you've gotten to know, I would really love to come and just see what it's all about. Maybe we can meet in your office, or maybe we can meet here or there or wherever for you to really kind of get a sense of what it's all about. Is that going to happen in your first meeting? Maybe not. Maybe that's the informational interview. But after you get to know them a little bit, perhaps the opportunity for shadowing is there.
And next, we wanted to talk to you a little bit about career competencies. So these are things that employers really value. Almost all employers really value these skills, these competencies. And these are things that you want to start to think about. Do you have them? Are there any that you don't have? And if that's the case, how can you strengthen that or build upon those competencies to become more career competent? So things like critical thinking and problem solving, you have to be able to articulate answers to problems and think creatively, and express yourself. All employers are looking for that, no matter what your industry. Oral and written communication skills are super important. You have to be able to express yourself, again, articulately, concisely, and communicate and effectively do that. Teamwork and collaboration is huge. No matter whether you're primarily, whether you do a lot of independent work or not, there's oftentimes the need to collaborate with a team, to be able to work well, to collaborate with others, whether it's other departments at a company, or whether it's with other people on your immediate team. There's always a need to do that, and you have to be able to do that well. Digital technology, everything things are constantly changing. Technology is constantly being updated and changed. So maybe since you graduated, there are some gaps there that you can fill in, you know to become more knowledgeable or to be more competent in that area. um, Leadership, can you lead a team of people, or do people respect you? Are they able to follow your direction? Can you delegate tasks effectively? Do people both like and respect you? So that's another really important competency that you'd like to master. Professionalism and work ethic, very important. Are you responsible? Can you be dependent upon? Do you show up on time? Do you dress appropriately at work? Things that seem kind of self-explanatory may not be for some. Do you work hard? What's your work ethic like? Are you lazy? Or do you take pride in your work? So those are some of those competencies that are really important. Career management. So are you able to advocate for yourself in the workplace? Are you able to kind of manage your own career, or decide what you want for yourself, to articulate your strengths and your skill set and your interests? Are you able to effectively communicate that? Global and intercultural fluency is very important. Can you work with a diverse group of people? Do you know what's going on in the world? That's important. And then obviously, as Chris mentioned before from our previous slide, just gaining experience in your field is so important and so valuable. So if you can look at these career competencies, kind of see what are some of the ones that you've mastered pretty well and where are some of the gaps to fill in, we'll talk to you a little bit more about how you can fill in those gaps. I think you're muted. Chris, we still can't hear you. One second, and we will advance to the next slide.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So we were talking about career competencies, and let's talk about that technical. But the one thing I wanted to punctuate about this is that there is crossover in these competencies. So even if you are changing industries completely, there is crossover. So these are the things that you can highlight from your current industry, your current work, that would cross over into your next plan, whatever it might be. Okay, so our steps to making a career change, these are ones that we just grabbed that we thought made a lot of sense and they could really kind of go across situations. Thinking about your current job satisfaction, what areas do you like? What don't you like? What makes you happy? What makes you want to cry? Whatever the case may be. Again, assessing who you are, what's important to you. So your interests, I said, that's something that really doesn't change past the eighth grade. What do you value in the world of work? Do you value recognition? Do you value compensation? Do you value travel? Do you value the workplace environment? What actual skills do you have? And then, of course, those competencies. Considering your options, sometimes you have to spitball, you have to brainstorm this out loud, and that's something that we can help you with. Experiential learning. Now, this is where I call it for students, and I'm calling it for all of us. Experiential learning is dating your career. It's really figuring out what works for you. You know, we haven't found our favorite pair of jeans without trying several of them on, right? And then finally, you know exactly what store to go to and what size you need. Same is true for your career. You really have to try it on. You have to figure out what works for you. You have to really see it and feel it. Looking into the continuing education. What kind of classes, online workshops, what type of things do you need to kind of gain the understanding or the skill set? And then, of course, updating your resume. But this is something I hope everybody knows. This is something you should do all the time. If you here are listening to us and you haven't looked at your resume in several years, well, go dig it out and blow the dust off of it today, tomorrow, right away, because it really should be a living, breathing document. It's something that should grow with you. When you take a workshop, when you take a class, when you get a promotion, when you get an award from work, whatever the case may be, you should be updating your resume. This is something that should be at the ready, particularly if you're thinking that you could possibly make a change. And that change could be a promotion. It doesn't have to be a complete change. Maybe it's a promotion and the opportunity is there. You need to have that document ready to go, to send to somebody when they ask for it or when you're introducing yourself.
And even for those informational interviews, if you're setting one of those up, you know, somebody might ask you for your resume. So just even having it
Absolutely.
readily available is super important. So there are a few types of changing a career changes. And one of them, as Chris mentioned, promotion might be advancing your career. So how can you prepare for that? What can you do? So first, you really do need to think about what success means for you. And this could look a little bit different to everyone. Does that mean making a ton of money? It's again assessing those values again. What does success look like to you? Establishing goals and a timeline. So this is they kind of go hand in hand. So setting up like reasonable expectation. What are you hoping to achieve? And then holding yourself accountable to a timeline. So if you are looking to advance your career, hope for a promotion, think about those goals. Think about what that timeline looks like to you. And again, that could be different for everyone. Getting feedback is also really important as you're thinking about advancing your career. Obviously, you need to communicate with your supervisor. Let your supervisor know that you are interested in getting promoted, in taking on more responsibility, and in being open to your supervisor. You're on their radar. So that's really important. But it's also really important to get feedback from your supervisor in terms of constructive criticism. What are some things that I can work on and improve upon that might make me a better candidate for a promotion or to advance? Also, getting feedback from peers and potentially any people that you supervise as well. Getting feedback from them sometimes is really helpful and really important. You want to understand, obviously, how people at your company make decisions, the people who are the decision makers. What does that look like? You have to know the climate of the institution at the time, or the company at the time, and realize, you know, how those people make decisions, and how often they promote people, how likely is it, those kinds of things. And then use your network. You hear us saying that all the time. Almost every time you hear from us, we're saying use your network. So use your current network that you have, and rely upon them for feedback as well, and look to them for support as you go through this process.
Agree. And you know, the only thing that I would say about this is all really great advice, is the third bullet of being open with your supervisor. Now, are we suggesting that you tell your supervisor that you want their job? No. But if nobody understands that you're willing to take on more, that you're looking for the next challenge, we can't expect them to be mind readers or just to look at you and say, you know what, you're so great at your job that we're going to promote you. Sometimes in the workplace, they're going to say, you're so great at your job, we want to keep you right there. Right. So you have to be aware of that and understand what the climate is and have those open conversations. Another change that many of us see in our careers is re-entering the workforce. These returning to work parents in particular are a population that I've enjoyed working with throughout my career. And it's just a really rewarding opportunity to work with people who have devoted themselves to their parents or to their children, to their families, to whatever the case may be. There's so many different situations where they have focused on family and now it's time for them to go back to the world of work. A couple of things here are tips for that. One, call us because we're happy to work with you. But next, consider creating a resume. It's functional versus the reverse chronological. This is something that Lori and I have spent a bunch of time on over the last, I don't know, what, 2 years, 3 years, Lori,
Yeah.
finding cool functional resumes. Functional resumes are those that don't focus on dates. They don't focus on, job, what's the word? Well, the chronological order of it, right? What's most recent to the oldest. It focuses on skill sets, which could be volunteerism. It could be, the president of PTA during the time that you were at home with your kids, or it could even be the chairperson of the Relay for Life or the Heart Ball or whatever the case may be. There are ways that you can really identify the things that you've been doing that are skill sets that can be used in the world of work. So, seeking advice and taking it humbly, I cannot punctuate that enough. I will tell you, I mean, for anybody who knows me, um, moons ago, criticism, critique is not something that Chris Whitney took well. I actually took it so personally. I wanted everything I did to be awesome, and anything but awesome was really unacceptable. I took control of that by seeking out the advice, by seeking out the critique and saying, you know what, how can we do that better? And it really just flipped the script on people giving their input. And it's really been a wonderful, wonderful thing. So, seeking the advice and taking it humbly, whether that is about your skill set, what you have and what you're missing, or if that is about your documents. All too often, people are what I call married to their documents. They get offended if somebody says that the format of their document isn't working, especially, and let's be honest, Lori and I can both attest to this, when we see resumes that are just not working, they don't make sense, but somebody then tells us that they spent $250 on somebody to build it for them. A, that breaks my heart because I would have done it for free. But B, it doesn't mean it's a good document anymore. There are a lot of rules, a lot of suggestions, a lot of expectations in a resume that were not true when I started doing this. So it's about taking that advice humbly. Staying current on industry trends. Are you on LinkedIn? What companies are you following? What journals are you reading? Are you up on what's happening in the industry that you're a part of, want to be a part of, or leadership that you want to be a part of inside of that industry? You have to be well versed. So that could be just on LinkedIn, that could be a part of a professional organization. It can be getting a newsletter, scrolling through. Maybe it's reading the Wall Street Journal. Maybe it's reading the Times. I don't know. Whatever it is, staying current on what's happening. And looking at the skills that the employers are looking for, whether that is a promotion, whether that is a change, whatever the case may be. In this case of returning to work, even if you're not ready yet, if you're thinking like in 6 months, I'm going to return to the world of work, we'll start looking at the ads right now. Jump into our platform Handshake and just, grab a couple of the ads that are there and saying, what are they looking for? You're looking for what are the skills that are required, but then you're also going to look at what skills are preferred, right? And more importantly, which of them do you have? What do you have? What do you need? And then, of course, we're always going to talk about the resume. Does your resume fit or match what you're saying you have?
And then lateral career move. So that's another type of career change that's very common. And this is when you move either in your current company or in a different company altogether, but your responsibilities and your pay are going to be very similar. So again, it can be either in your current company or in a new company altogether. And there definitely are a lot of concerns that go along with making a lateral career move. Um, that this won't help me advance in my career at all. I'm just making the same lateral move. It's not going to help me out down the road. And that's not necessarily the case. Um, they can often, like, making a lateral career move can definitely make you more marketable in the long run. um, you may pick up some new skills. You may interact with a different department, maybe if you're staying in your same organization. Finding out how departments work together to make the whole company function, and learning new job functions and new roles and things like that. So sometimes that experience can in the long run be really beneficial to you. um, I'll be starting from scratch. I won't know anyone. I'll just be, it's just like starting over at ground zero. But that's also not necessarily true. Building your network's really important, and also continuing to use your previous network that you have already built, because you aren't starting from scratch. And that is going to help you in the long run. Not making more money is another major concern that people have with making a lateral move. Um, but sometimes that is the case, but sometimes taking on that new position gives you a really unique opportunity to negotiate your salary a little bit. Maybe it is changing to another organization, similar position, and maybe you can market some of the skills you have that somebody in that position hasn't had before, and it gives you the chance to do that. Or even if you're staying in your same organization but making a lateral move, again, what are the skills? And we can help you, like, look into researching salaries and helping you with the whole salary negotiation process. That's something that our office can help you with, and our team is happy to do that. And then, another concern, I'm not moving up. I won't be challenged at all. People do like to be challenged in their positions. You don't want to take a position where you're feeling stagnant, where you think it's going to be more of the same. But realize there are opportunities for growth, for development in any new position that you take on. And so you really have to capitalize upon those and be open to those types of opportunities.
Absolutely. And one thing that's important to understand is many times a lateral move inside of the same organization, there isn't the same types of opportunities for negotiations. Many times we tell people that you need to leave the organization, go to a new organization for the real negotiation opportunities. But of course, these are going to be individual situations that we can talk to you about based on what your unique needs are. So here is our contact information. The website, scranton.edu/careers. You can get so much of the information that we provide right there. We're really trying to ensure that our website is as robust as humanly possible, because we know that many times the questions come up outside of office hours. So we're trying to be as complete as possible. As you peruse the website, please, please, if you are aware of resources, or you see broken links, or you see things that don't make sense, please let us know. It is a constant work in progress. I think we add and change and adjust things regularly. Every time we get a new batch of interns, one of the first things we do is we have them go all through the website and tell us what makes sense, what doesn't, what we should change. We're so open to that. Contacting us through our email or our phone number, even when we're working remote, which we're all kind of in a hybrid right now. Hopefully, we're going to be all back to normal soon. We pray for that. But you can reach out to us, and we are definitely accessible in that way. Scranton Connections, scrantonconnections.com is where I call it our own personal, professional, protected LinkedIn. That's where we have, last time I looked, I think we have about 2,800 people in there between alumni and students. There are different groups in there. So maybe you are a lawyer, or maybe you're in one of the health fields, or maybe you were an athlete when you were on campus. You can jump into one of those groups and communicate with people that are of that same background, whatever it is, whether it was a major, SJLA, or a sport. Handshake is our posting site. We call it the CSM. It's the Career Services Management System. That's where you can set up appointments with us. That's where you can find out all of the job postings that we have in there. We are absolutely 100% welcoming to alumni inside of that system. Well, I think right now, if anybody has any questions, we are here to answer them. I don't see any right now, but Lori, is there anything that you want to add? Oh, wait.
Oh, one just popped up.
Yes. Can I access your services if I live out of state? Yes, please. Pretty please. Reach out to us. We do Zoom appointments all the time. We do phone appointments. We can do mock interviews through there. All of it. Yeah. We have really found out if COVID has taught us nothing, it's taught us that we can be fully remote and serve our students and alumni from anywhere. So, yeah, great question. Thank you. Anything else you want to say or add, Lori, while we wait for some burning questions?
No, I don't think so. I think just reach out to us if, like Chris said, if you have any questions, any unique concerns, we're here for you. Even if it's an email and you need a relatively quick answer, that's fine. And if we feel like we should talk in more detail, we'll let you know that and we'll schedule an appointment.
I agree. We do have a question here. How long do you think a resume should be? I graduated in 90 and have had several jobs and positions. That is a great question, and it really 100% depends on your industry of choice. If you are going into education, sky's the limit. My God Almighty, I've seen 20-page curriculum vitas. But if you are in like an accounting or a finance field, something that is very strict, very defined guidelines, then we're still going to try and get this to a 1 page or maybe a 2 pager. And how we do that is we make sure that it's related. Maybe we don't have descriptors on those experiences that are not as relevant to what it is that you are applying for. Or maybe it is a functional resume where we're just highlighting management experience or supervisory experience or whatever the case may be. So I think that it really is dependent upon the industry that you're in and your unique circumstances. And I will tell you, so speaking of a resume, our next workshop, I believe workshop number 3, which is going to be the last Wednesday of March, is on resumes, right, Laura?
Yes, yes, that's what
Perfect.
we'll do. And we'll cover
Perfect.
different types of resumes and different styles.
Yeah. So great question here. When should I consider a CV versus a resume? Awesome question. I get this all the time, and it's actually one of my pet peeves. A curriculum vitae has the word curriculum in it. So really that is for published works, for curriculum, for teaching, that type of thing. But you know what? Some industries call it a CV, I think just because they like to call it fancy stuff. Um, but a resume is a resume. It's a documentation of your experience and your transferable skills. A CV is much more extensive. And it includes, like I said, published works, research, and curriculum that has been taught or offered. Awesome. And like I said, the next workshop that we are offering is going to be the last Wednesday, 7 o'clock, just like this one, on resumes. And actually, I'm going to tell you, we're going to have a lot of fun with that. I mean, this is Lori and I both have been living and breathing resumes.
Uh-huh.
And you know what? And we've really been trying. Our interns have been doing research too on trying to get new templates. You'll see many of those on our website. So if you go to our website, scranton.edu/careers, over on the right margin, you're going to see resources for. We have undergraduate students, graduate students, and then alumni. And we tried to put some really good templates and examples for resumes there. So take a look at that. But we're going to be talking about transferable skills.
Mhm.
I always say those are the skills where you can say, been there, done that, got a t-shirt, put it on my resume. What else?
Um,
Oh, great question. I like this one. Lori, if you want to start.
Sure. If I move to a new area and I am looking for a job, my resume is up to date. What additional help do you offer? So that is a great question. Um, we can help you with cover letters. You may be in need of updating your cover letter or starting a cover letter. Maybe it's been a long time since you had to put one together. We can help you customize that for each of the positions that you're applying to and talk to you a little bit about that. Certainly we can help you with the job search process itself. You know, what search engines are you using? What keywords are you plugging in? How are you looking for them? Are you networking? We can help you with LinkedIn, setting up a profile, taking a look at your profile to make sure um, it's as strong as it can be. Or if you don't have a LinkedIn, helping you get that process started. Um, we can help you with networking. We can talk to you about salary negotiation. Let's see, if you're changing your career or if you're not sure what you want to do, what direction you want to head, you know you're not satisfied, but you don't know what you want to do, we can help you with that decision making process and walk you through some of those steps. Mock interviews, if you're preparing for an interview, we can do a mock interview with you, or we can just talk to you about how to prepare for an interview, or we could do both. And we can share some of our other resources, that we have on our website in terms of researching careers. And we talked in the last session about Vault and about Big Interview and some of the other services that our center can offer. So we really, anything related to your career, anything that you may think is a unique situation, we'd be happy to help with that.
100%. See, she's awesome. Um, and you and I, at the end of the day, sometimes it's just about talking it out. And we never even pretend to have all the answers. But what we can do is maybe brainstorm. And if we don't know, like our friend Marge Gleason, who helped us put all of this together from the alumni part, sometimes it's just all of us coming together and say, who do we know that can help this person? I have no idea. So we need to get some answers. So I have no problem telling anyone, say, you know what, that is great. I have never heard that before. I think that is fantastic. Let's get the answers together. And then we'll just start. We have a web of people that are here to support you. And we absolutely will do whatever we can to find the answers. And sometimes that is even more fun. Great question. Do you have a lot of employers who contact you with openings they want to fill? Yes, I wish I could pull it up right now. I get a weekly report of how many recruiters are seeking out us, who are coming to us from Handshake. And the last number I remember is about 22,000. So we have about 22,000 employers that are in the platform of Handshake. Are many of those going to be entry level for our brand new grads? Absolutely. But there are a ton of opportunities in there for those that have varying experiences. So we have so many. We have grown by more than 3,000% in the number of employers that we're working with in the last 5 years. I love saying that. We have grown by more than 3,000%. Yeah, it's exciting.
It is.
All right. Well, we don't want to belabor. We don't want to keep you here all night. We want these to be really quick and easy workshops that you always want to come back to. So we can certainly end there. Just know, once a Royal, always a Royal. We are here for you. We are here to support you and help you get the answers to your career change. So thanks so much for being here.
Thank
Lori,
you,
thanks for
everyone.
being with me.
Yeah, thank you.